don't know. There's sometimes you have a team where you know it's their year and you just have that feeling about them. And then there are certain teams where you look at them and you're like, they don't look the part. And it may turn because it is only May 30th.
They were 10-18 last year in the month of May, the Cubbies.
But they weren't expected to do as much either. You know, that was more of like one of those transition years that if they did something, it would be a cooler story. This is, hey, we have demands this year. We have expectations. And like right now, except for that starting rotation, they just don't look the part.
I don't disagree with you.
Nothing feels right. The certain players just don't look right. They're not looking like I never thought the Cardinals would be better than the Cubs this year. The way the Cardinals were going, the way that manager arguing and getting tossed like every other day, Wilson Contreras getting his arm broken or wrist broken, whatever happened like a week or two ago, everything going wrong, and the Cubs now are 28-29.
That's bad,
really bad. By the way, the Bears have announced that they are the team on Hard Knocks. We'll talk more about that. And if you want to weigh in, 312-332-3776. But it's now time to join Jesse Rogers to talk some Cubs. He joins us on the CarX Tire and Auto Hotline. Jesse, before we get into the Cubs, as someone who has done this for a long, long time in the media business and the radio business, you've covered all the sports. What is your thought on the Bears being featured on Hard Knocks?
Well, one of my first thoughts was I wish baseball would do this, and we'd put a camera in counsel's office right now because I'd really like to know what's going on behind the scenes there, right? I mean, there's two ways to look at it. A team on the rise or a team on the decline, they're both newsworthy, and cameras behind the scenes are so much more interesting than not having it. So I think it's great. I think it's cool. Hopefully they're not putting on a show for the cameras, right? You want them to be as real as possible. Sometimes you don't get that in the reality shows. But if you do it the right way and you just kind of, put them in the corner and just let them do their thing, sometimes you do get the real aspect of all these guys. So that's what's cool. I wish baseball did it, to be honest.
They did. Do you guys remember, like, they did it for a couple of seasons, I want to say. I think the Giants were featured.
Spring training?
I thought it was during the regular season. Didn't they follow the Giants and Ozzy's Marlins one year? I think maybe Showtime did it, didn't they?
Yeah, I think you might be right. I don't know if it was a full year or were they doing it in real time or they did it late. They did it and they filmed it and then edited it and then played it later. Something to that effect. But it was over a decade ago for sure.
It was called The Franchise.
Yeah. And then I guess Netflix is following the Red Sox this year.
Yeah, so that I would like to see it in real time.
Yeah, one Giants, one Marlins.
Yeah, I remember that.
But week to week would be interesting, which is what's cool about Hard Knocks.
Yeah. So, all right, Jesse, and you have followed this team for a while now through this rebuild too.
Yeah.
Is this a blip where they're ice cold all at the wrong time, or is this just a sign of things to come in the 2024 season?
I think it's a blip. I heard you guys earlier. Great conversation. I think it's a blip, but that doesn't mean they're going to turn it around and win the division. They put themselves in a really bad spot, and certainly there are doubts about certain parts of this team. I think, Cap, you said it right. They're not going to be this bad offensively. There's already a few signs that it's starting to turn around. 6 runs and a loss yesterday, 6 runs and a win the day before. Got to 4 today.
Needed three homers.
Yeah, 3
for the first time since May 4th.
Yeah, Suzuki, Bellinger, Morel, the guys you want doing it. Happ has looked better. The only guy really looking bad still is Dansby Swanson. Everyone else is showing some signs, but it was awful. 216 batting average with one more day left in May. 643 OPS with one left in May. Both terrible, 28th in baseball in both categories. I mean, you can't sugarcoat it. It was awful, but because it was so awful, you got to believe it's going to turn there. But look, I think you were being too kind earlier, Cap, when you said Jed should have done something with the bullpen, and he should have. This is a total organizational failure in this moment. Now, if they turn it around, different story. But look at the team they just lost 3 or 4 to. They lost their manager. They lost Corbin Burns. They lost Brandon Woodruff. Can you name me?
And they lost their closer, who was NL reliever of the year, Devin Williams.
Thank you. Can you even name me a couple, more than a couple of Brewer hitters who by the way, I wrote about them today at ESPN.com. The Brewers are like third in slugging in the National League. They're right there with the Dodgers.
Let me ask you a question. How good is Willie Adames versus what we're running out there for $177 million? That guy's a beast.
Yep, and William Contreras has advanced. They have a bunch of other young guys. And remember, the Cubs have a highly ranked farm system. So did the Brewers. The Cubs, though, spent $230 million on their payroll this year. The Brewers are at $150. And what was the whole point of signing the manager that supposedly was squeezing the most out of the least for all those years in Milwaukee when he's not able to do it in this moment here? Again, in this moment. We're talking about a snapshot of 2 months. So many things to sort of be disgruntled about with the Cubs. Doesn't mean it's over, but, man, Milwaukee has not missed a beat in changing over managers. And considering what we all thought of Counsell as one of the best in the game, this is quite surprising that they've been able to maintain.
Jesse Rogers is brought to you by your Chicago Toyota Dealer Association. Toyota, let's go places. You are probably the biggest Mark Leiter fan that I know.
Yeah, way too much.
He's been really good, though, until lately. I mean, compared to what they have, Cap. I mean, and he's the only guy who gets lefties out. But lately, he's been struggling. Is there concern about his workload?
Is he healthy?
Yeah. Go ahead.
He says he's healthy, but I don't disagree with you. He's had about 3 in a row that have been a little shaky. He's gotten in some trouble. Madrigal made that huge error that would have bailed him out with a double play ball, but it was hit at 100 miles an hour, so you can look at it both ways. Still, you got to make that play a couple days ago. A little bit of concern. I mean, in some ways, though, he's the least of my concerns because, he's still pretty good. There's so many other guys you got to worry about. Luke Little, right? Tyson Miller gave up a home run today. So, I mean, Hector Neris still walks that tightrope a lot. So, but the point is this. If he struggles, if Leiter struggles, you really have problems. So I think he'll turn it around. He was going it's almost like Shota. They were going so well, you can't expect them to continue. He had a below 1 ERA as well, Leiter did. So I think it's just a blip. But when other people are struggling, that blip stands out even more.
Okay, Jesse, a couple things. One, I don't want to hear any more from anybody. People don't make trades because I'm watching Luis Arias with the Padres. They gave up 3 good prospects. What in the name of Luis Arias?
No, would you call him Did you call him the Padres?
No, with the Padres.
Oh, I thought you said the Padres.
No, with the Padres. He's killing it. And they made that trade, had no problem dipping into their highly ranked farm system. Our guys are sitting up there, haven't done anything except get Tyson Miller off a DFA. I want some freaking action. And did you get an update on the injury to Cade Horton?
He nothing more than the lat issue. He left the game. At first, they thought it was a back, and then they checked it out. It's his lat. So that could be a little bit of time. He's coming to Chicago, probably get an update tomorrow at Wrigley Field. But it's not good news if you're thinking he should be up here real soon. That's going to set him back a little bit. I don't know what to say, Cap. Yeah, they did make that trade. There haven't been a ton of other ones. They could use one. They could use maybe a guy in the minors. But I do agree with the aspect that your stars need to be your stars. Like Happ was really bad for a long time.
Is he a star, Silvy?
And he at best, he's a good player.
Right. We don't have a star.
Happ.
We don't have a star. We pay guys a lot of money, but we don't have any.
We have nice players.
Yeah, we don't have one guy,
the
Jesse.
Cubs, not we. The Cubs have nice players.
The Cubs don't have one player that you look and go, that guy's a killer.
No, you're right about that. I should say within this Cub team, it's like how should I say it? Your starters need to be good players. You're right. Your stars have to be your stars. Is a little aggressive, but he's making $20 million. So either they have to perform or they'll go down in the minors. We talked about it on Monday. They brought PCA up. That was the right move. Yep. I do think we'll see others come up here if the offensive struggles continue. You're not replacing your shortstop, though. I mean, he's got to just get out of it one way or another. You're probably not replacing Happ, but you do have the DH spot
What
open.
about catcher? We suck.
Yeah, don't have a catcher ready to take over. So all of those are problem areas. There's no doubt. But I gotta imagine this offense with Suzuki, with Bellinger, is going to turn it around. Now that they're back in the lineup fully. But I'm surprised it hasn't turned around already. I am surprised. So sooner rather than later, they'll probably dip down in the minors and give someone a shot.
Jesse, I was asking you this, I think via text, or maybe we were talking about so many things on text message last night.
Yeah.
And I brought this up to Cap earlier. I never understood why delay Shota's next start. If your intention was to start him Friday night in St. Louis, why then skip him a whole turn? You were going to start him on Friday. So if you're going to start him on Friday, shouldn't you start him then Saturday or Sunday?
Yes.
When you're red hot, why wait 10 days to get him back out there? You're self-imposing the cooling off of him by yourself. It's like benching a guy with a hit streak. Why would you ever do that to somebody who's red hot?
100% agree with you. Cap, you said it earlier. In Japan, they only pitch once a week, but that does not mean you need to sit him for 10 days, like 2 turns through the rotation. So in anticipation of a struggling outing by him yesterday before the game, I asked Craig Counsell that question. Now, he addressed it in St. Louis, but I wanted to ask it again. This is a full 2 turns through the rotation. Why did you wait so long to put him back out there? Here's Craig Counsell before yesterday's game.
Let's go back to the idea of giving him like the full rotation off, if that makes sense, instead of maybe 6 days or 7 days. Just why the full 9 or 10 or whatever it is?
Well, essentially, we had a decision as to if just looking just farther ahead than just one spot, one turn. So we're trying to look a little farther ahead.
Okay.
So this sets him up to pitch after the off day again.
What does that mean?
Did not like that answer. So in other words, they set him up to give him again more rest because they have an off day this Monday. So he won't pitch again until Tuesday against the White Sox. So first he gets like 9 or 10 days, and now he gets another 5 days, instead of the normal rest of 4. I did not like that answer, but that's what he said.
Now, he said Shota did through Edwin, what's his last name?
I'm not sure. I know
Whatever, Edwin, his translator.
Yeah.
They said that he goes, I got all my work in, all my cardio. I feel good. I just didn't make pitches. I apologize to Craig Counsell.
Yeah.
Which,
I've
never heard a player apologize to the manager for being bad. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, he didn't literally go in there and apologize. It was just one of those things.
No, he said it through the translator.
Right. So, here's the point, though. You can feel good. You can not know that you're rusty. Like, you're not going to know you're rusty. The pitches are going to tell you you're rusty. And I give Milwaukee credit. They had a great game plan. They jumped him. They went to the opposite field. They were as good as any team against him. In fact, they were the best team against him, obviously. However, you can connect the dots. 10 days off, and he's rusty, especially early in his outing. Yes, connect those dots. Did not like that answer by Counsell. Did not like that much time off. I agree with both of you on that.
All right, Jesse, anything else we need to know?
I'm going to give you a little trivia and on a positive note.
Trivia.
All right. Christopher Morel hit his 10th home run today.
Mm-hmm.
This might surprise you, maybe not. He's the 7th player in team history to hit at least 10 home runs in his first 3 seasons. Okay? 7th player. There's only one player in team history that's hit 15 or more in his first 3 seasons. Morel's going to be the second guy. He's going to hit 5 more. Who's the other player, only one in franchise history, to hit 15 or more home runs in his first 3 seasons?
Chris Bryant.
Boom. You got it.
Very good.
That's
That was
exactly
quick.
right.
You didn't even give me a chance.
Isn't that surprising, the history of the team?
So that's his first 3. Like Sammy didn't do it in his first 3 years with the Cubs?
No. Now, let's see. I wonder I'm not sure if it's, like rookie season or first 3 with the Cubs.
You had to clarify that. You have to come harder with the, well, that sounded weird.
Any
you have
Sox
to bring
news?
the trivia. You have to bring the question harder next time.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, well, according to my stats, people, it says first 3 seasons with the Cubs. So maybe I don't know. Might be. It's got to be from rookie year on. Yeah. It's got to be.
Any Sox news?
Sammy had 8 in 92. So you're right. Very good,
yeah.
Jess.
There you go.
He wants to know if you have any Sox news. I know you guys do that in the morning.
Yeah. They're playing the Brewers next, so
Yeah, they have a day off today, and then they're up in Milwaukee.
They're in
Milwaukee tomorrow,
they're
right?
going to get their ass swept.
So the Cubs need the Sox to actually win some games this week. It could help.
I'll be rooting for the Sox for sure.
I mean, they're one game under for the first time since March 31st. They're under 500.
Right,
Cubs.
when they started 0-2, and then they won one in Texas, right? That was the last time they were under?
They were, right, 1-2. That was the last time. So maybe the calendar moving to June will change things. I think it will offensively. But bullpen-wise, some other areas, even on the bases, guys, they lead the league in outs made on the bases.
That Seiya running mistake was so bad.
Terrible.
Terrible. And AU Deerfield, they don't even make a mistake like that.
They do not.
No, that's Seiya Suzuki making that mistake.
Bad.
And again, this is a manager who's known for getting the most out of players. It's not happening right now. It's not happening.
All right,
By the way,
Jesse.
Ernie Banks, how many home runs his first year as a Cub?
I'll say 6.
3.
3, wow.
That?
Turned out pretty well.
Yeah, it did.
Turned out okay. All right,
So maybe
thanks,
it will for
Jesse.
Morel as well. All right, boys. Talk to you later.
See you, Jesse.